For Mr. Murphy, do you support a ban on lobbyist paid travel for members of Congress?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I absolutely support a ban on lobbyist paid travel, and I go further than that, frankly. I support also a comprehensive campaign finance reform that would get lobbyists and special interest money completely out of congressional elections. I think that the cozy relationships that get created through those contributions and through that travel, which Congresswoman Johnson has been one of the chief beneficiaries of in this Congress, is detrimental to our process. It's very detrimental to our process. The first bill that I introduced in the state legislature was a bill, amongst the first bills I introduced, was to publicly finance campaigns. And I'll tell you, it was one of the proudest moments of my time in the state legislature when I got to vote in favor of that. And if you read the New York Times this weekend, you saw that it was one of the reasons that they decided for the first time to endorse a candidate against Congresswoman Johnson. So let's get serious. Let's get serious about lobbying reform. Let's get serious about campaign finance reform. I don't think there are quid pro quos necessarily happening in Washington, except with the worst of them. But I think that the connection forged between Congresswoman Johnson and the drug industry and the insurance industry, and the relationship that was built over years of spending time in fundraisers together, is in part why we got such a miserable prescription drug bill. We should have done prescription drugs as part of Medicare a long time ago, but we should get it right now that we've done so.
Nancy Johnson.
I worked hard for the campaign finance reform bill that passed the Congress. You can see it wasn't perfect, because we're an entrepreneurial, creative society, and frankly, there's greater chaos out there and greater dishonesty out there in the campaign process now, but with all the groups out there, unaccountable to anyone, that I've ever seen in my lifetime. Now, this issue of travel, very few trips that I've gone on have had any lobbyist money paying for them. They're mostly sponsored by the Aspen Institute or committee travel. I went to Iraq last August with some of the members from the Armed Services Committee. Very important to go and see. It helped me a lot to ask our boys, how is it you're pressing this issue of standing the Iraqis up? What does it mean, the rhetoric up here versus your work on the ground? And they told me. And one of them said, it's a blank piece of paper. What do you mean, I said? He said, look, if they don't take over, you just come in one day and you don't have the plan. And they then have to sit there and say, well, let's see, the plan should be this or that. And they learn to plan. And he described to me how much they've learned about planning the day's activities, the goals and objectives, and the logistical supply lines. You've got to do that at the bottom before you can expect the system to work from the top. Now, we're not there yet. It's not perfect. Big mistakes were made. But if you don't do some of this travel, you don't know. I'm glad I went to the Middle East on a trade mission to see the progress the Europeans were making against us on scrawny little trade agreements that actually keep our products out. Our trade agreements keep our products in large new markets, and particularly are good for American manufacturing. So I traveled to learn. I don't believe in being a congresswoman for global power and being an ignorant member of that community.